Just better make sure my hair looks alright. Okay, so here's yet another video that nobody asked for. Maybe that's what I should call this series, a series of videos about photographs that nobody asked for. So this next photograph is actually from my 2016 exhibition, which was called A Series of Awkward Poses. It was a physical installation exhibition as well as a digital one, where I went out and met a bunch of creatives and I documented them in the forms of a video interview and a bunch of stills. The stills then formed the physical part of the exhibition, and in the digital part was the videos as well as transcribed interviews with the creatives in question. One of those creatives was my friend Michaela Steele, who is a very talented painter and photographer and a lot of things actually. She all needs to chill it up, but she's also a yoga instructor, I believe, or at least a practicer, if not an instructor. She can probably correct me on that. And she very kindly agreed to be one of my subjects, so we went down to Lunderston Bay in the balmy October weather in 2016 to do a shoot. So I wanted to talk about one of those images. And so this is the image. Some people have probably seen me show this off before, because back when I think it's a really strong image, and I think that's got more to do with Michaela than it does me. Although, speaking of me, if you can't see my new haircut, what's the point? Yeah, so we took this down in Lunderston Bay in October, on the 31st of October actually, so on Halloween. And I think this image kind of just speaks for itself. It's an excellent demonstration of Michaela's mastery of her art and just her physical prowess and power, and it's really striking, so I wanted to talk about that because I thought it might be quite interesting. What's probably less interesting for people is that, like the last photograph I did, this was shot on my old camera, so the Canon 6D, which was a DSLR, as opposed to a mirrorless camera like the Canon EOS R, which is filming this. But also it was shot on a completely different lens selection. I don't think I actually have any of the lenses that I used during this shoot anymore. I've actually upgraded entirely, so it's a bit of a look into how I got some great photographs in gear that apparently isn't as good, and also this photograph stood the test of time in my portfolio, where a lot of my new photographs don't. Maybe I shouldn't say that. That's not conducive to wanting to hire me. But the point is, it's not about the gear you have, it's about capturing the moment. That's what I'm trying to get at, is I'm good at doing that, so my photos stand the test of time. That's really what I meant to say. If we go into Lightroom, here's the original raw image. Here's where it started. So from a settings perspective, this was shot at 1/800th of a second, obviously to freeze the motion of Michaela jumping up, because she doesn't stay in the air for very long, especially when she's going that high. There's obviously a lot of explosive power behind that, so it's a very quick movement, so I had to have a very fast shutter speed to capture that. I shot ISO 320 because it was the middle of the day and it was really bright, so I had to bring the film speed right down to account for that. And it's also shot at f4, again to account for that, so that I can close off some of the light that was coming in, but I still wanted it to be have a bit of depth to the scene. This was actually shot on an excellent lens, the Tokina 11-16mm 2.8, which I don't have anymore, only because it was a crop sensor lens, so I could only use it at 16mm on a full frame camera, and that kind of became a bit of a limitation. But it was a really cheap, effective and really high quality for the price ultra wide angle lens, and I kind of wish I still had it now. Actually, I'd like to use it for some things. Maybe I'll buy another one, who knows, with my newfound YouTube fame and all the money that comes with that. So here's the image, let's take a wee look at it. Obviously it's quite dark, and that was so I could account for just how bright it was. I wanted to make sure that I preserved all the details in the image, despite it being so bright. So I deliberately underexposed it a bit, which makes the day look kind of grey and dull. And to be honest, it was relatively grey and dull. It was the 31st of October after all. So let's run through. Let's just have another quick look before I do that. So this is obviously a much brighter image. It's still quite cool. It's very vibrant, and there's a couple of things I would probably get rid of now, such as this boat in the background. and it's maybe a bit too vignetted around the edge, but we'll see how I read it, whether I stand by that statement. Okay, so I'll go and do my usual. I'll immediately make the colour profile portrait. I'll scroll down and enable my lens correction. I'm also going to level this a bit just because I want to make sure this horizon's absolutely straight. It was most of the way there, as you can see, but it's important to make sure that it is absolutely straight for something like this where the scale is so important. So talking about the scale, I had a couple of choices when I was shooting this. One was to do it the way I've done it, which is to get a huge amount of the surroundings and kind of make Michaela a lot, she's still the focal point of the image, but make it a lot smaller to bring in that kind of sense of scale, and I think that brings a sense of drama to proceedings. The other option would have been to go in a lot closer on her and to isolate her in the air, which also would have been quite dramatic because it would have been in the air without any kind of context, and that's quite a striking image. You don't typically find human beings in the air in my experience, but I kind of wanted to tie all these subjects back to the area that we're from in Inverclyde and how that influenced them, because that was part of how I got the grant for the exhibition, was it had to be about local creatives. So I wanted to make sure when I was photographing people outside, if their craft related to that you could tell where it was, that was immediately apparent. It was somewhere, and Lunderson Bay obviously is pretty iconic if you're from the area. So it was a combination of wanting to get that kind of sense of scale and drama, but also tying it back to the reason that I got money. Not that it's all about money. If it was, why would I be doing this? Okay, and also I want to set my contrast to medium as per usual. Okay, starting from here, so obviously the image is quite dark, it's underexposed, so I probably want to have a think about that. So I will play with the exposure a little touch. I don't want to re-expose it too much more than that, because I want it to feel like there's sun behind the clouds, but I don't want to lose the clouds in the exposure. So I'm going to bring the blacks down, and I'm going to play with this dehaze tool, which is a tool I didn't have at the time, just to bring a bit more drama to those. And then I can bring up the shadows, and that will let me re-expose Michaela a bit. I don't want to bring up too much that the colours start to get a little bit weird, which I'm not super fond of. What I'm going to do right now is get rid of this wee bolt, because it kind of ruins things a wee bit. So I'm just going to take my spot clone tool and get rid of it. There we go. Goodbye, Mr. Bolt. Maybe never see you again. Then that, and then what we play with the highlights. I actually probably went against my usual judgment, bring the highlights down so I can highlight the drama in the clouds here. I do love drama. So dramatic. Okay, so having done that, I then want to bring this contrast in a little touch, give me a little bit more to play with. And then I want to bring the texture up so we can get a bit more details out of the sand. I want the sand to feel tactile, feel rough, have a good footprints, bit of definition, and also help define Michaela a wee bit as well. And bring the clarity up a wee bit just to boost those colours a tiny touch. So I'm then going to do my usual on the colours, -15 saturation, +15 vibrance, see where that gets me. So make a little touch too desaturated and cool. I might warm it up a touch. Get that kind of golden touch, play with this tint a little bit. It's a bit too green. I think we'll just leave that for just now actually. And I'm going to come down and play with my colour calibration across all my channels, see what that does for it. I probably don't want to do it too much red, that makes it a bit weird. The green maybe? A bit more green. Probably a little bit more green that way. And then play the hue of the blue. Yeah, that makes it a little bit more stylized, feels a bit more metallic almost. I then want to make sure I'm isolating Michaela over the rest of everything, so I'm going to mask my background so that I'm getting as much of just Michaela as possible. So that eliminates a lot of the clouds. Bring a bit more detail in the sand as well, so I'm fine with that. Bring that up. Just isolates things a little bit more. And when I come back up to tension again, it's not quite where I want it. I don't want it to be that blue. Yeah, but yeah, that's kind of golden, that's quite nice. I quite like adding a wee bit of green to outside things, gives them a nice kind of film-esque look. I just keep zooming in here to check that I'm not causing any weird fractions of detail on Michaela or messing with any colours on her, because she is, after all, the subject of the photo. So if I play with these whites, yeah, I want to bring them up a wee bit. Just gives the impression the sun is trying to burst through the clouds at the same time she's throwing herself into the air. So let's play about with the colours a little bit. I want to make these blues a little bit more turquoise, so it's a bit more stylised, a bit more that kind of travel orange and teal look. I'm going to play with the oranges, see what they do. Yeah, I like it a little more metallic that way. My reds. I don't want to touch them too much because it's going to play with our skin tone. The aquas do here. So the aquas, if you can see, pulling a little bit out of the background, so look at one in terms of these hills. So I'm just going to push that up a little touch. It's a bit more stylised than the original edit, but I quite like where it's going, so I'm going to just saturate the blues a little touch more. Usually the aquas where they are in terms of the orange. I'm going to bring that up just a little touch. I like this kind of golden flicker that I'm now getting on the beautiful waters of the River Clyde. It's a remarkably clean day at Lumsden Bay, actually. Okay, and then I can play with these colours as well. I don't want that to be too dark, I want it quite nice and light. See, now we're getting some nice kind of reflections and contrast and highlight on muscular Michaela. There's a leg, nice reflections of the water and the light. Okay, and then when I come to my split toning, classic 9 across the board. We play about C. I quite like the highlights that have been a little bit warmer, so I probably want to bring these shadows over to the other end of the colour wheel, so it feels a little more like that. And adjust this balance a little touch because that feels a bit too purpley. Go up here and plug the temperature a little bit more, see what I want that to be. Certainly not there. I like that makes things a bit more dramatic, a bit more golden. And I might actually just pull the saturation down a little touch more. Okay. And do I want that vignette that I had before? Probably a little touch, just to give things a bit more of a sense of glamour. And then we're going to come up and just re-expose another little touch. So that makes sure it's nice and bright and clear, because that's what we want this image to be. It needs to be clear, so you get the full impact of things. I don't particularly want stuff disappearing into the background of evil loss. And I may actually just bring that dehaze down a little touch more. Oh, that's very nice. Okay. So the image that I've got on the screen just now is an example of how it would look if I had sort of cropped in or had used a longer lens to capture in the air, and that's obviously still pretty dramatic. But I think when you add in the location, like so, you really get an idea of the sense and scale, and actually you get more of an idea about the explosive power behind their movement to get her up that high. When you zoom in, you kind of lose that. So that was the rationale behind going for the maximum impact with this image with the wide angle. Wide's not always the best, I don't think. I actually typically quite like to shoot things quite tight, get more depth of field, blow things out of focus. Wide angle, the wider you are, the more you can kind of see what's happening, the more things are focused. That's typically not my style, but there's a time and a place for big impact wide shots, and I think this was one of them, obviously. So yeah, as I say, here we are, zoomed right in, here we are zoomed out. So if we go back and we compare that to what was there before, it's a lot duller actually, the original image versus the new one, which is a bit more intense, a bit brighter, which I am personally all for. So that was that. You can still go and see the exhibition. It's still up online digitally at www.aseriesofawkwardposes.com. If you're interested in finding about Michaela or any of the other creatives that interviewed, there'll be a link below or above or to the side or somewhere. Who knows? It's a crazy world we're living in right now. Yeah, so that's that. I might continue on this path of doing some more kind of weird portraity things. They seem a bit more interesting to talk about than just live band photos, which probably aren't as exciting for anybody unless you really fancy who's in the photo, I guess. So as always, leave me abuse below. The more outrageous the better. I can't wait to be called a cock. I'm just literally counting down the seconds. It's going to be so good.